but I'm going to spend it on, upgrading my life a little bit. Get a fucking car, dude. Maybe get a better bicycle. Maybe get a fucking motorized bicycle. Dude, that's what I could do. Get a motorized bicycle. Ooh, what a great idea, man. What a great fucking idea. Just fucking. Fuck, I got something in my eye. Welcome back to the Pupil's Life. This is a white Mexican story in Austin, Texas. And it's about a lot of things, man. I'm not going to tell you what the fuck the podcast is about. You can read, right? There's a description right below the video that you're watching. Or if you're listening to the audio, which I often forget exists, then all you know is what this episode is about. My camera has been shutting off just at random times, so that's just the kind of setup we have here at the Pupil's Life. We have janky equipment, and I don't know if janky is a word, but I'm gonna pretend that it is. And I'm going to keep doing this because I have to look at my computer to see if the video has fucking, gone soft on me, in the words of, I don't know who. But welcome to the Pupil's Life, people. If you're new here, welcome. If you're old, then if you're an old person... If you're an old person listening to the Pupil's Life, then I don't know how to help you. But yeah, man, it's the Pupil's Life. And what's been going on? It's been a couple weeks since my last solo episode. I can't get the fucking mic to where I like it. There we go. That looks better, right? Doesn't cover my fucking face. It is the Pupil's Life, and what's been going on? It ever since the Capitol thing back in January, seems like the current events has taken a little bit of a chill pill, and oh well, no, the fucking GameStop. That's what took over. But that's more like my kind of news. It's like, oh, the fucking world is burning down, and fucking, these people are Republicans and fucking Democrats, and oh, who's the shittier one? That's just boring. But the possibility to make a buck, dude, the possibility to make a buck with fucking GameStop. Oh, there it goes. There she goes. The possibility to make a buck with GameStop. That was just the fucking video. For those who are just listening, the video just crapped out. Yeah, no, I woke up one day and my brother told me he had bought 2 shares of GameStop at like $230 each. And he said he had been reading all this fucking news, and he said, like, dude, it's going to go up to like 10,000. And, the thing to know about my brother is that he's always been good about money. Like, always. And when I say good, I don't mean like he has a good relationship with it. I just mean like he's always been good at accumulating money. And so when I heard this from him, I was like, the seed was planted and I started to water it like the Mexican that I am. I started to water that fucking seed and just started thinking, $10,000. If I buy it at 230 like he did, that means $9,769. Dude, that could be like that's almost like that's a little bit over a third of what I make working in the service industry a year. And if I get two, that means I got 2/3. What if I get fucking 3 or 4? Then I'm set for like 2 years. uh, so so I that day, and the other thing is that I just started this new job, and so I'm like, I don't have all that much money. And so I felt somewhat irresponsible doing it. But I just took my words I took my words brother for it. I took my brother's word for it. And I went on fucking I don't have an investment account either. That was the other thing. So I went on one site and I fucking was like, all right, let's get this thing moving. And they were like, it's gonna be like 7 days. And I said, I don't got that kind of time, dude. This could fucking blow up to 10,000 tonight. So then I went on my personal bank account and I opened one through that. And they were like, hey man, hell yeah, here you go. You can fucking start investing right now, ASAP. And so I said, all right, man, how much do I want to do? And I bought one share. I said, all right, I don't have as much money as my brother does. I'm going to get one share. I bought one share at 220 something dollars. And then fucking stock just started to drop. There's all this shitty news about GameStop right now. And one side says that it's just the hedge funds trying to manipulate the stock, right? They're trying to make it crash. And so it went down, I think at one point down to like 40. And so I got one at 220, and then I bought one of my actually, I don't even know if that's legal, so I don't know if I can say that, but I got another one at 109 when it dropped to that, and then I got another one at like 74, and then I got two more at 50 something. So altogether, I've got five GameStop stocks, 5 shares. It's not even. This is how little I know about investing, is that I don't even know the correct terminology. I have 5 GameStop stocks. I have 5 shares of GameStop, and dude, it's at like 63 right now. I'm recording this on a Sunday. The market hasn't opened again, but dude, it's just one of my friends is also invested in it, and he said, I'm just gonna wait for the big squeeze. And I said, like, what is that? What's the big squeeze? And he said, well, people are saying, a couple of weeks from now, it might take us all to the moon. Dude, just the lingo that the people who are invested in GameStop are using is so funny that at this point, I don't even care if I go to the moon. And I don't mean that literally, but I don't even care if I make the 10 grand off of each share. It just is fun to be a part of this fucking, little group of underdogs, right? Because we're not trying to harm anyone. At least I'm not. I'm just like, dude, this could be my big break. This could be my big break from fucking having to get just fucking, dude. Like, I could get a better camera. I could get fucking, I could just become that guy, right? I don't know if you've ever seen that video, but there's a video of a guy that's at a lottery ticket place or whatever with like 10 other people, and a reporter walks up and she's like, excuse me, sir, excuse me. So if you got a nice lottery ticket there, if you happen to win the lottery, what's the first thing you're going to do? what are you gonna spend your money on? And, and the guy just fucking he just fucking turns around. He's got like broken teeth. He looks like a meth addict, and he's like, hookers and cocaine. I don't even remember if he had a southern accent, but he's just, I'm gonna spend it all on hookers and cocaine. Just like super genuine. And I'm not gonna spend it on that because A, I'm never gonna do cocaine, and B, I'm probably never gonna do a hooker either. But I'm gonna spend it on, upgrading my life a little bit. Get a fucking car, dude. Maybe get a better bicycle. Maybe get a fucking motorized bicycle. Dude, that's what I could do. Get a motorized bicycle. Ooh, what a great idea, man. What a great fucking idea. Just fucking start riding my motorized bicycle up hills, down hills. That would be probably a better investment than a car. Just get on the highway, take a road trip on my fucking motorized vehicle, on my motorized bicycle. But yeah, man. So I'm invested in this now, and it's so funny. My brother's such a fucking tight wad. He's such a fucking tight wad, dude, that as soon as the stock started to drop, he was like, fuck, dude, should I start selling it? I could still recoup like at least 400 of my 1,000 that I've invested in, because he bought two more. He bought two more at like 200 and something too. So he's put in like almost $1,000 into GameStop. And so it just started to drop, and he started to lose all hope, right? Like he thought it was gonna fucking shoot to 10K the next day. And then on the other side, there's my other friend who's like, dude, we just gotta hold it. The more it drops, the more we buy. It just like, I'm at this point, I'm just going off of what other people are saying, which my motto in life is to do the complete opposite and to just listen to your gut. But to be fair, my gut was saying the same thing this time. Was like, fucking dude, let's do it. Let's fucking get on board. You fucking dude, just put in. I know you only have this amount of money, but put in like a third of it. Put it into GameStop. That could take you to fucking to the moon, dude. So who knows, dude? The pupil's life might become the rich boy's life. Would you still listen to this if it was the rich boy's life? The rich boy's life, a white privileged male's story in the US or in Westlake. That would be a fucking interesting one, man. For some people, for some it would be triggering. I'm triggered that this white male gets to have a podcast. Why does he have a podcast and I don't have food? Dude, I don't know. You caught me in a good mood today, man. I feel like I haven't done like a silly fucking, a silly podcast in a while. But yeah, so GameStop might take me to the moon. And this is not advice, I'm about as far, I'm fucking wiping my fucking nose, dude, on on my podcast. That's about as fucking as non-advice giving as I can be. I'm the guy that's like got a snot rag so he can fucking, blow his nose when he blows all his money. Any other nonsensical metaphors, Nick? I took some new headshots. My brother took some new headshots of me for the next book that I'm going to be publishing, and just to update, look a little bit more professional. And we went to God damn it, dude. What is it? The fucking video, man. Oh, I don't even know It's like it's not moving. But anyway, man. We went and we took some new headshots to the Roy G. Guerrero Park or Trail. I forget what it is, but in any case, the first like 50 pictures that my brother took, he looked at me, he showed me the pictures, and then he looked at me and he said, "Do you always do that thing with your eyes?" And I looked at I looked at the pictures and I was like, "Oh, the hamburger eyes." It must have been the sun, I think. I said, it must be the sun, because the sun was like coming directly at my face. And so yeah, it was just this weird thing where, if it's like one picture and they're like, "All right, smile," you could fucking like, just fucking do it for that one picture. But when it was a headshot, and I'm just like, my default is just this. And my brother was like, "All right, you look a little bit angry." And so I would be there trying to to put on a smile, but then he kept taking pictures and the smile would wear off. And I don't know, it's just very amusing to me, both that I am still uncomfortable smiling in pictures, or I'm not like trained, I don't know, dude. It's like some people can just fucking put on a smile for any picture, and you see it in they look the same in every picture. They're just like, like that fucking shit-eating grin. And for me, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know how to smile for pictures. And then the squinty eyes thing, the hamburger eyes, I don't even know why I was doing that, but it was like my eyes were fucking like Asian eyes, Um, but yeah, that's, I don't know where that was going. I started a new job that I don't think I've talked about on the podcast. I just should do the podcast like this. I started working at another food truck, and I want to exercise caution when talking about it, because it's just fucking wild. It's wild. The food truck that I'm working at. And the reason that it's wild is because of the owner. He is European, and he's just fucking, the thing I've learned, and I learned this morning during my meditation. I was just thinking about, how true it is. So this man, he's very direct, he's very straight up. Just, you're one of those people that, for better or worse, you just see who he is right away. And he, he really likes stereotypes. I'll just put it that way. He has very defined stereotypes of people and races. And he's also vulgar. He's very loud, he's very brash, and just very fucking straight up with it. He's just straight up with it. Yeah, I don't even have an example. I mean, I do, but I don't want to fucking to start talking shit about this guy. And the thing that I realized was that his right hand man and his right hand woman, they're both like, yeah, no, he's a character, right? But he's sweet, and he's and his intentions are good, and blah blah. And that's going to be my new fucking, if I ever have merch, that's going to be my fucking catchphrase. Blah, blah, blah. And blah, blah, blah. But I just realized that people are very quick to defend people that are like just fucking straight with it, you know? And it's always older men that are like South American or European. And it's almost like people look at them and they're like, he just doesn't know better. He just doesn't know better. He's good in his intentions, well intentioned. His intentions are good. And I found myself doing that too. Because people would ask me like, how's work going? How's the boss or whatever? And I was like, my initial thing was like, he stereotypes a lot and he does this and it's just like kind of negative things. And then fuck, man. And then I stopped myself and said, oh, but he's not like a bad person. And I started to think of all these reasons for why he was right to be the way that he is, right? Because he's just being himself. And at the end of the day, that matters more. I think it matters more whether you're like true to who you are than what you or who you are. You know, it matters more if you're true to who you are than who you are. You know, and that's a thing that a lot of people don't even recognize with politicians, right? A lot of people didn't like Trump because he was just straight up with it, you know? And he's a narcissist and he's, you know, he's got a lot of unlikable qualities. But his most relatable quality is that he's just straight up with it, you know, just fucking, he's not hiding, right? So we can all see him and be like, oh, that guy's a dick, right? Like just fucking, now we know that that guy is a dick. Whereas a lot of politicians, and I think Obama, I've read a lot of stuff and I've heard a lot of stuff about how Obama was this way. He's like, Obama wasn't, you know, doing all that much better as a president, but he was just better at sort of at transmitting bullshit, basically, and you know, hiding his true self. Because at the end of the day, if you are the fucking president, dude, I'm sure there's exceptions, like in the early days of like the presidency, or even with some like Dwight Eisenhower. I don't know very much about U.S. history, but for the most part, I think if you're the president of a country, you're a fucking like a broken person or a traumatized person trying to fix a traumatized nation, right? That's the U.S. I'll just speak for the U.S. And so if you just come out and you start saying that, you're going to be disliked. But if instead you're like bombing fucking Syria and then you're going on TV and you're like, today is a day for hope and we lost a few students at the school, but today's a day for hope and for prayers, you know, just fucking like start bullshitting or focusing on the positives, right? Like you're not getting fucking paid off by all these, you know, just like pretending that you're not a corrupt individual, like that's a possible outcome for any president. any president. Just that's the thing that scares me about like the Neuralink is that it'll start to censor my speech for me. You know, dude, because now it'll be in my brain, and so I'll be like, you know, dude, presidents are all just fucking like, it won't let me finish sentences. It'll recognize that I'm on a podcast and that this is going to be transmitted to multiple people. And then it'll be like, nope, no foul language about our president. Biden gets really awfully close to young chill, just fucking like start having a seizure. But yeah, I don't even know why I got onto that. I was talking about, the fucking guy that I work for. That's right. At the end of the day, at least I can see who he is, right? And he's not just hiding his personality. And I'm not saying he's that's like the best thing that you can do, because, there's also an argument for, hey, don't be a fucking dick. But I don't know. If you're a dick at the end of the day, I would much rather know than for you to put up a front and pretend that you're not. But yeah, I've been working there for, I think, just a little bit over a week. And I don't know, it's such an easy job. It's such an easy job that it's just like, I'm just relieved to be making money again. I'm supposed to get paid today. And I say supposed to get paid. I'm supposed to get paid today. I'm supposed. It's, how do you teach someone English, dude? Being an English teacher must be one of the hardest jobs in the world. It's like, you write a sentence on the board, right? You're just fucking like, and then he was supposed to go to the grocery store and pick up some watermelons for his family. And then one of the kids is like, the teacher asked the kid, like, hey, Derek, will you read the sentence out loud? The fucking like second grade or something. It's like, he was supposed to, or, maybe if I was teaching a kid, I would just be like, he was supposed to go to and then the kid might be like, but that word is pronounced supposed. I'm like, yeah, but, sometimes you just pronounce words wrong because it's easier. And then kids, I don't know how you teach kids that. Because rules are meant to be broken, right? Fucking the English language. Once you know it, once you dominate it, at least in writing, once you know the English language really well, you can start to break rules. Like one sentence words. A lot of authors have one sentence words to convey a feeling. And I just remember when I was in high school and my writing classes, my English classes, not always writing, I'd write a paper or a fucking how was your summer bullshit thing when you first get to school again, and just like spill my soul, right? But I already knew what the fuck I was doing, right? I wasn't one of those kids in my class that Spanish was their first language and English was like, I don't know what I'm saying language. And then I would turn the papers in, and my teachers would always say like, so it's a lovely piece, Nick, but it's important that you learn the grammar, the rules of grammar and structure before you start breaking them. And I was like, bitch, I know what I'm doing. Bitch, I know what I'm doing. And then senior year, I had a teacher who was like, dude, you're a fucking ace, and she encouraged me. And who knows, I might not have been a writer or not have written books if it wasn't for her. Um, that's the only reason I would ever consider being a teacher, is so that I could encourage kids, right? Because there was no one at my fucking school except for this teacher who encouraged me to to follow my dreams, And even her, she was like, well, but you got to go to college to do it. And if I was a teacher, dude, I would just be like, yo, what's up? What's up, my guy? What's up? What's on your mind? And it could be like, dude, I'm so sick of sitting in a classroom for 8 hours every day for 5 days of my week. I just tell him, dude, you didn't evolve to be doing this, but unfortunately, you could try to talk to your parents about it, and if they're, maybe I wouldn't say this, but I would say you could try to talk to your parents about it, and I was going to say if they're good parents, they might be receptive to it and take you out of school for a year and sort of deal with some of this stuff. I wouldn't say the good parents thing, because that would get me in trouble with the fucking school board, I'm sure. But I would just tell them, you didn't evolve to be locked up in a classroom for 8 hours a day. But unfortunately, that's the system that you are in. And so what happens when external situations are out of our control and we don't like them is that we have a choice. We have a choice, Derek, and and that choice is we can complain about it and make it harder for ourselves to get through the situation, or we can find meaning and purpose and focus on the things that we can control. And talk to him about that, dude, and fucking blow his mind. And then he'd go home and be like, how was your day at school, Derek? His mom would ask, and he would say, oh, I had a really cool conversation with Mr. Nick, Mr. Gomez. And she would say, what was it about? He'd say, just some school stuff. I would have a better relationship with Derek than he would have with his own mother. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be fun to be a teacher just for like a year, just go be a fucking teacher, like a 25-year-old teacher. That's the thing, is that I always looked at teachers and I was like, they're grown-ups. And now I'm their age and I'm like, they were fucking children pretending to be grown-ups. And I wouldn't pretend to be a fucking grown-up. I would be straight up with it, I would just be fucking straight up with it. And if Derek asks me, like, was it hard for you to go to school? Fucking video, dude. There it goes. I wonder if it's on like a time limit now. If Derek asked me, is it hard for you to go to school, Mr. Gomez? I would say, dude, I was a fucking C and B- student. And then that would give him hope, like, oh, so grades don't actually matter. I could just coast through school and not get Fs, and everything's going to be okay. And I'd say, yeah, Derek, that is the reality of the system that you're in, is that your grades do not matter. Unless you want to play the status game the rest of your life, right? On my LinkedIn, it says I had a 4.0 GPA at fucking Hudson University. And I'm an ex Yale student. All right, but what's your mental fucking health look like? Oh, well, I work in an office 8 hours a day at a job that I hate, but it's a great job and it's got good benefits. Ah, dude, I just get fucking, my brain doesn't even know how to go there. What else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, let's get serious with it for the last half of this episode. I was listening to a podcast recently where they were talking about childhood traumas, and I had heard this many months, maybe a year ago, maybe a couple years ago, and it's just sort of got lost on me through trying to talk to other people who knew nothing, no fucking clue about what I was talking about, but they were still trying to like push their agenda on me. And I just let that sort of be like, all right, maybe I should fucking put this away or something. And it just got lost on me. But what I was listening to on the podcast, and if anybody wants to listen to that podcast, it is the Mark Lerouste podcast. Just Google that. It should show up. M-A-R-K, Mark. His last name is Lerouste. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. So it's Leruste. And it's the episode with Tucker Max. It's one of the recent episodes. And basically one of the things that they mentioned was that neglect has a worse impact, or neglect is harder to deal with at a later age than basically neglect can be harder on children than sexual abuse or physical abuse. And I know when you hear that for the first time, you're like, how the fuck can just being ignored be worse than not just not being ignored, but being given harmful attention, right? Like being physically abused, being sexually abused. And for me, at least, as soon as I sat down and thought about, okay, how do I feel about this? It was very obvious why it is, I'll just say more complex, right? Because I don't even want to put a value judgment on it being better or worse. But more complex because, so if you're physically abused, if you're sexually abused, oftentimes in those situations, you still have sort of loving relationships with the person. Like you could have a physically abusive dad one night, and then 5 nights the rest of the week, he's like asking you about your school and, like helping you with homework or, but if you have parents that are neglecting you, like real neglect, the way they phrased it, the thing they said was that, what was it? That basically we're social creatures, and no society in the history of mankind has ever completely ignored their children and had them turn out like totally fine. And it just got me thinking, yeah, like, dude, if a fucking ape has a kid, a baby ape, and then he just like fucking swings off into the abyss and never sees that kid again, that baby ape is probably going to die. Unless another female ape comes by and like scoops him into his life, right? Adopts the baby ape. And more so than that, for me, the thing that makes sense is just and I asked my stepmom this. I asked her, you were a mom when you were, or as a mom, what is the thing that you have learned is the biggest fear for a baby or for a child? And she put her arms up like this and she closed her eyes and she said, to be abandoned. And I fucking was like, all right, man, that's the evidence right there, piece of it. um, yeah, like I think for sure uh, the argument makes sense to me. I don't know, but I just thought it was so interesting because a lot of times people very, very much diminish the impact of neglect and fucking heighten the shit out of physical and sexual abuse, which I think makes it more shameful, right? It's like, ooh, you were sexually abused. And I've been guilty of doing this at times. You know, I've gone on dates where two, three, couple dates in, the woman will tell me, you know, yeah, I was raped or I was sexually abused, or and I noticed that gut fucking punch in my feeling, just in my gut, that's like, ooh, this is gonna be a tough one, you know. Ooh, maybe best to back off of this one, you know. Very judgmental on my part, I know. And it's funny to learn this new information and to reframe it as like, oh, that's possibly not as bad, and I'm using bad lightly here. But a woman telling me she's been sexually abused or raped, and me thinking, ooh, that's going to be a lot on me, a lot on my plate, when really I'm a fucking child of neglect. And that's fucking, you know, it's caused more damage in my life than potentially the sexual abuse has caused on this woman's life. And she might have a quicker trajectory out of that, a quicker path to, I'll just call it, you know, freedom than I might have. Um, and so, yeah, it's just helped me reframe that. Like, all right, well, it just makes sense to me that it's easier to deal with sexual abuse or physical abuse because you know, sort of like, all right, well, this is what happened. But when you were ignored, you were just fucking alone. You didn't have anything, dude. You didn't know what to do. You didn't know what to feel. You didn't know what to fucking think. And there was nobody there to even entertain those doubts. Um, and I don't know. I'm not even trying to tell you that you should believe what I'm saying. I'm just saying this has been sort of one of those groundbreaking uh, ideas, I guess. And there's massive amounts of books about it. You know, one of the books about specifically what I'm talking about right now that it's my next book that I'm going to read is called The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der something. Uh, and you've probably heard about this book. You know, it's a lot of people talk about it, but so there's a lot of research that indicates that this is true, and yeah, it's just, I guess it's like neglect is almost like it's more abstract, you know. So when you're older and you're trying to go back to heal the neglect, it's like, all right, I was in my bedroom and I didn't know where my parents were, and I was hungry. All right. Where's the thing? Where's the thing that's gonna fucking where was the traumatic thing? And it's like you're staring right at it, you know. But it just we've been so socialized to think that it's like normal to be alone and to be fucking locked away in a bedroom just at 8, or you know, to wake up on a Saturday morning and neither one of your parents be home and just be like, all right, I guess I'm gonna eat cereal for breakfast. Fucking 3 bowls of sugary cereal and then go sit on the couch and watch TV. Uh, Whereas if you were fucking physically, you know, sexually abused, and again, I'm really not trying to make light of this, but if that was the case for you, then it's like, you know, oh yeah, this thing happened to me. I need to go back and feel this specific thing or if it happened multiple times, it's like it was a pattern and you just need to, it's just more of it's a less of a gray area kind of thing. It's like, oh, your dad hit you with a belt, whipped you with a belt 10 times when you said something he didn't like. And there's no room for like, well, but like he was like, it wasn't, he didn't hit me that, it's just like, dude, he fucking hit you. You were physically abused. And so you just go back and you look at that. Right. And oh yeah, my fucking uncle fondled my stuff when I was, put a finger in my butt when I was 7 years old. It's like, there's no room for saying like that was okay, right? But then with neglect, people are like, well, but your parents were doing their best, and they were busy putting a roof over your head, and so there is more room for like, all right, I get it, they were doing their best, but that's not the argument here. The argument is that this fucking impacted me, and that this had a really that it was really difficult, right? I think it's easier to diminish the impact of neglect than it is with sexual and physical abuse. And again, I'll repeat, I think that it creates a lot of shame for people with physical or sexual abuse past history, because then it's like, even in prison, right? Isn't it in prison that like being a pedophile is, they'll fucking kill you for that. But if you killed somebody, then it's just like, oh, all right, like, he's one of us. And there's a great fucking book about this called Sparrow and the Razor Wire. If you haven't listened to the episode, I had the author on. His name is Quan Nguyen, probably episode like 60 something. And he was telling me, yeah, when you're in prison, or in one of the chapters, there's he's in a group setting, right, with a bunch of other inmates, and they're talking about how being a pedophile is the worst of the worst, and they're putting themselves as, they think they're superior to pedophiles because, well, they just killed someone, right? And then he's the one that says, but wait a minute, what if actually it's the other way around, right? Because if you're a pedophile, your victim still has a chance. If you're a murderer, your victim is gone. And it was one of those fucking moments like where you just were like, oh, I'd never thought about it that way. There's another book like called The Way of Men or something like that, and by Jack Donovan. And there's another idea in there, that in that book like that, where it says, in the US, we look at the people that caused 9/11 as terrorists, right? But the flip side of that is that they're fucking heroes in some parts of the world, to their group of people. They're heroes because of what they did. We see them as terrorists because what they did was against us, right? And so it's all just about like perspective. And I was talking to my brother about this, and I said, I totally understand how, if somebody heard me say, oh, well, neglect is actually worse than physical or sexual abuse, right? Which is a very blanket statement. I could say it a different way. Like, the implications of neglect are harder to deal with sometimes than neglect or than physical and sexual abuse. But if you're somebody who went through sexual or physical abuse and you hear that, I totally get how your first instinct might be like to push back and to fucking say like, no, that's not true. because I experience the same thing when people say that about neglect, when they're like, oh, neglect is what is neglect? You know, just fucking suck it up or whatever. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting thing and I wanted to share it with you. Because I think more people have been, and this is just me making something up, this isn't an actual number, but I think more people have been neglected than physically or sexually abused. And I think that's why, at least in the US, I think that's why we're so isolated as a society. So that's my spiel on sexual abuse and trauma. Yeah, man. Like, just no society has ever ignored their children and had them turn out fine. It's as simple as that. I have a couple other things that I wanted to talk about, but it's all pretty trivial shit. Tennis with Ricky, building snowman, something that happened fucking a month ago that I just never talked about. Credit card fraud. But I'm liking the 50-ish minute episodes, so I'm gonna end the podcast there. That is the pupil's life. Thank you for listening. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing if you enjoyed what you listened to. There's a little button that says like, and if it's there for you to click it if you enjoyed what you listened to. And there's also a button that says dislike, and you can click that one too if you didn't like what I was saying about trauma. But yeah, that's the podcast. If you're interested in healing lessons and writing tools and writing prompts once a week, no spam, go to sendfox.com/NIKOAGF. That is sendfox.com//NIKOAGF. And that's a newsletter that I send out once a week. And that's the podcast, man. Thank you for listening. Happy Valentine's Day, if this is a Valentine's year for you. And yeah, I will see you next week. Thank you.